Okay, this is it. This is season 2 of Chucky Radio. It's been like 9 months since I did Chucky Radio, which is crazy. You know, it's kind of crazy partly because last year, I think I'm always better in the spring and summer. And then when I get into the fall and winter, kind of go through that winter blues kind of thing. So the last episode I did was great. We went to New York and I did a whole piece on that. And we had an amazing trip to Bali, right kind of before I went into my little winter, little cocooning. And then what's kind of crazy is coming into this year, when I was still kind of in my headspace, we have this world pandemic, which just forced me to continue to cocoon. And it's been nuts. You know, it's been kind of a crazy year. Of course, now we have everything going on with protests and Black Lives Matter, and it's just a real serious time. But the whole purpose behind Chucky Radio is just to tell fun stories. Hopefully this is a break from all the serious things going on. And so, welcome to Chucky Radio. Okay, so I have with me today some of my besties who came on this trip to Bali. A couple of my favorite people, Sarah.
Sarah Sharp in the house.
And Jahna.
Jahna, present.
And so thanks you guys for coming out and helping me tell this story that you guys were a huge part of course. And in fact, how did this whole Bali thing start?
I'll tell you. Chucky and I started traveling together while, I don't know, everything's a blur with time, but we figured out we were really, really good travel buddies.
Yep.
And so we made our list of intentions, and Bali was really high on the list.
That's right.
And Chucky is the consummate traveler and like the American Airlines devotee, so he gets all the perks and benefits and things. And so one day he's like, Sarita, buy this flight. Don't ask questions.
That's the story I heard.
Well, what was great, and I remember the exact moment all that happened, is I was out one time just kind of having drinks, and you were out, and you had met one of your friends out. I think it was Carlos Sosa, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, and then you were over on the west side of town, and we met at the Cat's Meow.
Okay.
And we were sitting at the bar, and that was a moment when we started talking about Bali again. Okay. We had mentioned these, different trips in our, like you mentioned.
Intentions.
But that was a moment where you were like, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Because I pulled up the flights. I saw, holy cow.
He's like, I can get us this row, this whatever, and like a really great price. And you even said, buy the flights, I'll pay for the room. You remember that?
Yeah.
Because that's how we roll. Friends help friends travel.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And so then you said, hey, I've got this really cool friend that loves to travel also. And you and Jahna had reconnected after. Since
high school, we'd known each other, but we hadn't really been connected as adults. And we had just become really good friends again. And I was like, you should come to Bali. And then Chucky's like, come on, Sarita, I don't know her. What if it's not the right thing for my trip? And blah, 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 blah. I'm like, just trust me, Chucky. Come on.
And I said, yeah, I'll get a ticket.
So she did. But we flew west and she flew east, completely around the world.
And we landed only, 3 hours apart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
pretty cool.
Crazy amazing.
That was. So one of the things I just wanted to kind of delve into is I want to talk, about the experience of Bali. I don't want to get into all the logistics and all that. And ended up having a couple other friends that joined us, my buddy David and my friend Sherry. And, there was different dynamics there with a group of people. But just like my initial impression of getting into Bali, the density kind of just, almost shocked me. Like just walking out into that world, like, you always hear Indonesia and how dense it is and all that. And so that was interesting, just that getting from the airport to our first hotel. I don't know if you remember that, but at the same time, what was so cool about
Just
it?
getting out of the parking lot.
Yes, all the flowers pouring.
But the stop, like the gridlock, just even to get out of the from our.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And the taxis versus the not taxis, and the Grab. It was the Grab app or something.
Yeah.
And whenever I got there, I remember it took me a couple of hours. It seemed like to get to the hotel to get to you guys, just to get the right car.
And people had kept saying to me on the way there, like, I don't really love the mainland. It's so crowded. There's a lot of trash. And I was, some people were like really negative about it. And I was thinking, God, why you got to be so negative? You got to go to Bali. Like what?
Yeah.
But I get it now. There is a big difference between just that dense population. And obviously we only saw certain parts of the mainland.
Right. We were right around the big city of Depensar. And then we went straight, because everyone's kind of getting together.
Yeah.
We went straight to that real popular beach, Kuta Beach. And that was like the Cancun of Bali, which was, just, I mean, there was Burger Kings and stuff around.
Yeah,
there,
it was like the Playa del Carmen of Bali.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like there's the Hilfiger shop or whatever.
Glad I came all the way to Bali to go there.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get some Haagen-Dazs.
So what was great was getting away from there. And the next morning, as soon as we could, we went to go jump on the ferry, the fast boat ferry, over to the island that we stayed at.
We're on a boat. We're on a boat.
Yeah, our little song and our little video we made. That was always fun. And so, Ceningan,
I think.
No, Jahna
Pretty
always
sure
knows how to
that's
say it right.
Well, and she owned that place. She scootered her skin off on that place.
I have the mark to prove it still to this day.
You have scars
I
to prove it
do.
from the very first day we got
Y'all
there.
were like, okay, so there are only scooters and then the little kind of golf cart kind of cars. And come on, Sarah, we're going to get on the scooter. And I knew I would wipe out. I knew I'm not made for that. And
from our trip to Puerto Rico, we know.
Yeah, you know how I wiped out.
If you
I
wipe out, your skin is real delicate to that.
Well, maybe that's part of it. I'm quite thin tissued. But I knew, like, in this foreign country, on this island where people are like, zoom, zoom, like tiny little margins in between the bikes and the cars and stuff. No, I'm not going to ride a scooter because I have this whole trip in front of me. And y'all put so much pressure on me to do it. And I was like, do what you want. I'll be at the beach. I'm not getting on a scooter.
No, it's the boss of you.
And then you and David took off. Jahna and David took off. And then she proceeded to take off like the size of a grapefruit out of her ankle.
Ooh.
Like the skin was gone for the rest of the trip.
Just but a scratch.
Just for the scratch. It was.
That didn't stop me from diving.
Until it went necrotic at the end.
Yeah, but then the trip was over, so it didn't matter anymore. I didn't care anymore. I just went through the Middle East with it all.
It was a
sacrifice. I know how to
sacrifice.
ride scooters, but I knew that wasn't for me on that.
It was a sacrifice to the Bali gods.
Yeah. And
give up a little.
I mean, now we have a fun story and I have a cool
Awesome
scar. Yeah, I love it.
So while we're on the island of
Ceningan.
Nusa Ceningan.
Nusa
I remember
Ceningan.
Nusa. They always start the island names with Nusa. Nusa Penida, Nusa Ceningan. Oh, wait.
They were next to each other.
Oh, Ceningan was actually the island
next to Lembongan.
Next to Lembongan. Lembongan is the island that we actually stayed at.
Correct.
Okay.
And where we met Charlotte.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Hi,
At our
Charlotte.
hotel. Yeah, hopefully Charlotte hears this.
Hi,
What a
Charlie.
lovely girl from Germany. She was really sweet.
I know. We were supposed to see her this summer, and but then pandemic
Travel
happened.
things have paused.
Yeah.
Young lady, I should say, right?
Well, she's an awesome woman.
Yeah, woman. So when we got over to Ceningan, which was after we got settled in Lembongan. And by the way, when we got to Lembongan, I love it because all the photos is like you guys immediately are in the pool. You know what I mean?
Well, it was a lot of travel to finally get in the damn pool.
Yeah.
you
And
know?
then we get there with all these suitcases and we get out there.
Well, y'all had all these suitcases.
Yeah, and they're like, just go down this alley and then take a right. Well, you go down the alley and you're on the beach. So you get on the beach with all your luggage and you look like such a tourist, all of us. Okay,
No,
we
not-
take a
We got-
right.
Not
We got-
I. I
No,
had
no.
the tiniest little backpack.
She was
Except for
great.
Sarah, who packed right.
Yeah.
We've got
She
roller
packed right.
bags, and we're like
Y'all are
taking
trying to roll
roller
them through the
bags through the
I
sand.
sand.
know, it was
I'm
horrible.
like, boy, bye.
I know. She's like, I'll see you in the pool.
Like one of the things I'm gonna put on Facebook and
How lightly
Instagram and
you
all
can
that. I'm gonna
pack.
put a little album to go with this podcast
Okay.
of the trip. And
Oh,
like
yeah,
I love those
for
photos
sure.
when we first get there, and
Oh,
you
you
guys
took
are just and it
incredible
wasn't
ones.
just the pool, but just the landscape behind the pool. You know, just
Right
the
on the beach.
ocean and the
Yeah.
cool little boats that they have in Bali.
And all the offerings, all the little
I know, everywhere.
So
flowers
cool.
and
and
mornings, the
incense.
flowers and the food and the incense. It's so
And the flowers
sweet.
all over the floor, and I just put them all in my hair all day long. I loved it. I wish I could just walk around and put flowers in my hair every day.
And then everywhere we went, a dive master fell in love with Jahna and tried to stay in touch with her and kept WhatsApping her.
He watched your live show today.
He did? Oh my God. They everywhere we went, the world falls at Jahna's
Oh,
feet.
That's so
brother.
cool.
That is so
Everyone wants
silly.
to be close to your light.
So-
That's why you're invited.
One of the things I did while we're on the trip, knowing that this would eventually become a podcast, is I recorded sound from that moment. So I'm going to incorporate that. Let's listen to the first one, which is us going over to Nusa.
Lembongan?
No,
No.
we're from
Nusa
Lembongan
Penida.
to
No, Ceningan.
Ceningan. Sorry, there's just so many
I keep
islands
giving
we
you the
went to.
cue of Ceningan because you say it
Like,
so
which
well.
island am I supposed to say?
And we ended up at this amazing restaurant on a cliff,
I think it's the best part of
Mahana
the-
Point,
Oh,
right?
man.
I think it's the best part of the trip for me.
I think it might be my most favorite place on the entire planet.
I
And
I
you-
could have stayed there for
Yeah.
days.
Right?
Magical
Yeah.
spot.
So here is that sound piece. Those waves crashing are the waves here at Mahana Point. I'm here with Jahna.
Cheers.
Woo,
Bintang.
drinking Bitang beer, overlooking the ocean. We just saw, this is the Indian Ocean, and we have David here. What's up, David?
Hi everyone.
So we're sitting here, just been watching surfers at Mahana Point, this amazing bar restaurant overlooking the ocean, watching amazing waves just crashing underneath us, and just beautiful sunset.
Surfers. And some more surfers.
The girls like the surfers. We have Sarah back here who's like spent the last 10 minutes talking to the best surfer out here.
I think it's more like 30.
No, but this is absolutely beautiful. I mean, we're in Bali.
We're in Bali.
We're in Bali, Indonesia, at the moment on a little island called
Ceningan.
Ceningan.
You have to say
I
it real
love
quick.
the way you say it like a local.
Oh yeah.
You gotta say it like a local. And it's just, it's a beautiful spot in the world. A lot of Europeans. The surfer who's a good surfer is an Australian surfer. Just listening to the waves crash is just awesome.
I'm never leaving. You're gonna have to come here and visit me.
Jahna has decided to stay.
I'm staying here.
Jahna, you will find Jahna
You
in
can
10
find me
years.
at Mahana Point.
In 10 years, Jahna
10
will be
years.
sitting in the same spot, drinking a Bitang Indonesian beer.
I just want them to make me a lot of drinks. Let me visit.
She will become
I'll
a
learn how to surf.
local attraction from the fact that she has not moved from this chair and quit ordering beers.
No, there's that Jahna girl. That will
She
be me.
never left.
Nope. Never. Never leaving.
No, absolutely beautiful.
Weren't we clever
That was just...
get out in the world and live the you know what out of life.
I know.
We were really good at it.
Man, our timing was awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we did that just right.
We were so good at being us.
Yes, we are. Oh my gosh.
So we got to experience that. We did some scuba diving, which the scuba diving was pretty cool. The water was a little cold.
The first day, oh my goodness. Remember we had to drag our boat through the mangroves.
Oh
I
my.
Remember that? Thank God we had the right shoes on.
Oh, we worked hard for that dive.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, we did.
And
Worth it because you swam in a sea of manta rays.
Oh my gosh.
I was among
it
them, but that was our second or third dive.
It was,
that was
it was the
actually
first day, but it was the second
our second dive.
I
We
got
went to
too
that one
cold.
little
Crystal Bay was
yeah.
the first.
I got too cold. Even with my wetsuit, like all of it was amazing. But you're in the middle of manta ray heaven, and I'm like, "Yep, saw a manta ray. Gotta also stay alive. Bye." Like I
know
it was terrible. I could not.
But
get
you did
warm
see
enough.
them.
Oh,
right?
it was awesome.
Yeah.
I could not get warm enough.
And I just got sick in between every dive, and then I'm like, no, I'm good. Let's go. I don't care about my ankle or anything else. I just want to dive. It was great.
And then there was great little restaurants. Like Sarah was always the one that would venture out and find the best
the place
little
to
breakfast
eat.
place.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like she'd be like, "Okay, everybody, come here. We'll meet here."
And it was good every time.
Oh,
Well, that's what I love about traveling with y'all because we all live in gratitude, and it's like you can have this moment where it's like, taste this mango. This mango. The whole trip was worth it just to taste this mango. Yeah, like that kind of presence and total like
It was like that
childlike
the whole
enthusiasm.
time.
We were like that about everything, every step of the way. The breakfasts in Bali are ridiculous.
they're so
so
delicious.
Like the acai bowls.
It just comes in a half of a coconut shell.
Yeah.
There's no waste. Everything, there's no straws. Everything's glass.
We still haven't started our bamboo straw empire that we
what's that all
planned
about?
out.
Right.
We were
Everything was
gonna be
bamboo straws
straw,
there, which was so cool.
World changers.
Yeah.
So then we move on from Lembongan and we go to these islands that are off the coast of Lombok, which is a completely different culture. Which you guys could tell a little bit of the change in culture.
Right. Well, one's Muslim and one is it Buddhist maybe?
Probably.
Mostly Buddhist, I think.
And then Lombok is mostly Muslim.
Right. And so the Gili Islands off the coast of Lombok, which was real, like just interesting the moment you get there because there's no cars allowed. And I thought that was just the coolest thing, right? We get off and we're like...
All
No
these little
motorized
horse-drawn or
bikes.
donkey-drawn carriages and bicycles. That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
And the hotel would give us bicycles, which was really cool. And then we ended
could
up...
bike around the whole island.
Right.
It's great.
We were at Gili T, which is kind of like the main island that had the most
Trawangan?
attractions.
Is that how you say it? The
I'm
whole
not
word?
sure.
It's like
Trawangan?
Trawangan.
Gili Trawangan.
And so...
We met some really nice people there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sarah.
Sarah. We won't get into Sarah's.
We had a good time.
But I like, again, awesome pictures, right? Like as soon as we get there, we go to that one side of the island where the sun sets, and there's photos of Sarah holding the sun, and there's photos of the heart with the swinging chairs.
Yeah.
The best thing is like you plan for Bali and you follow all the hashtags, and it's like we're gonna go here and we're gonna like swing out over the ocean.
Oh yeah.
And then
with
Jahna,
a beautiful long
Jahna
dress
did
that
the
flies in
thing
the
of
wind.
like what you see on Instagram and then what you have, and it's
falling
like
off
it's
of
like
it.
she's like on that swing and it's low tide and it's
Just
she's
trying to work on
falling
my
off of
injuries.
it and her ankles weeping and
It was fun though.
One of the things that we did, which I hadn't done in a really long time in the Gili Islands, so we went on a night dive. I know you weren't up for the night dive.
I was terrified, but I was going to be a good sport. But that was our third dive, or that day, or the second dive that day.
I think it was like the second or third.
I think
Yeah,
it-
probably the third.
I think it was the third.
It was the day where,
because we went,
and I just got so cold. I'm just such a skinny little, maybe anemic person or something.
No,
But
the water was pretty cold there.
I went back into our Jahna and I's room, and Jahna's and my room. How do you say that?
Well, it was
Jahna
ours.
and I.
It was ours.
Our room.
And I had to take the electricity key out of the wall and get all the blankets, and it took me over an hour
To get warm again.
Get warm. And
I remember putting socks on her while she was bundled up. I was trying to. Who brings socks to Bali? I don't know, but we had a pair
people who go on
somewhere.
the airplane.
Did you come out on the boat though, or no? No,
So,
you stayed.
On one of them, I just had to go up. Like when I got out with the manta rays, I just had to put myself like a starfish on the roof of the boat in the sun and warm up. And
But
I don't
at
think
the night dive,
No,
you didn't come out.
No.
No. So I just want to play this little clip because this is us coming back from the night dive, and there's something I just love about it because it just like to me epitomizes Indonesia and kind of what the experience was like. So you can hear the ocean in the background. We are on a boat in the middle of Indonesia.
What sea are we on?
We are on the
Indian or the Bali Sea?
We're on the Bali Sea, which is part of the Indian Ocean. And we just did a night dive, so we're just scuba diving. But the great thing is, we're on a boat in the middle of the night, in the middle of the Bali Sea, being guided by a guy on the front with a flashlight.
Holding onto the rope so he doesn't fall overboard.
I mean, this is like awesome. I mean, this is just like living the ocean life, right?
Exactly.
Like
it's third world.
it's
living.
right. And there's something so cool, like cruising on a boat with no lights on it.
It really is.
Right? I mean, I can see the boat captain back there, and all you see is a tip of his little red lit cigarette. You know? I hear a couple guys speaking German that were on the night dive. You can see the silhouette.
We're up top.
Yeah, and we've got Jahna and some of the people that are up top on the top. What is this, like the canopy of the boat? Looking at the stars as we cruise back. It's just a roof. So you glad you came on this trip?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
Right.
100%.
Just
Wouldn't be anywhere else right now.
I mean, just a great little getaway, man. And the people are so nice.
Everywhere you go. Everywhere you
Right.
go. Restaurant, everything. Dive masters, everywhere. Look at all the stars out here.
Great, isn't it? Wow.
You get a lot of water.
Dude, cruising on a boat at night is actually kind of cool, huh?
Oh, I love that.
So yeah, that was just like really cool experience of kind of doing the night dive and just the way they do it there. And so it was a really nice day in Gili Islands. Great experience. Some had more fun than others. But then we move on to mainland Bali.
Mm-hmm.
And we took the boat over.
We stumbled a bit with booking our ferry. Remember
Oh,
that?
yeah. We were like trying to figure out the best way to get there. And we booked it to one place when we should have gone a little bit further south. But we ended up getting a driver that some friends of yours had
With
recommended.
a whole big giant van for our poor
Oh my
people.
God.
Yeah.
Remember how
And it was meant to
huge?
be because we wouldn't have ended up at those water gardens if we hadn't booked the wrong ferry.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely
Right?
right. You're absolutely right. And that was one of like the most beautiful photo I took in that trip was at those water gardens. I mean, that place was gorgeous. It was like
Absolutely.
walking into a postcard. And so that was a neat experience.
Absolutely.
And so just kind of
And
cruising.
we wouldn't have had the full, I mean, we didn't have the full Bali experience, but that was an enormous part of really feeling like we touched on it.
Yeah,
We also had 2 or 3 mosquito bites finally whenever we went there.
that's right. We
I
were
packed all that bug spray for no reason.
Remember, we brought all the bug spray and we all took like all these shots and taking pills and all this stuff because we're so worried about catching these diseases, and they were all mostly coming from mosquitoes, and we never got a mosquito bite.
I just figured I'm going to be traveling so much. I would like to be immunized, so I'm
That's
just going to
true.
be up to date on all this
That's
stuff.
true.
Yeah, and then I wasn't nearly as worried about the mosquitoes as y'all were.
I don't know why I was so worried about it, and then literally had no mosquito bites.
Well, when we're on the islands and it's surrounded by salt water, I guess there's just not that many mosquitoes. Plus, it was a drier time of year, too. The wet season started the following month. So we were at the end of the dry season, and that was one reason that everything was so dry. So we get to our final destination, which was a really cool beach area.
Is that how you say it?
Yep.
Canggu.
Canggu
Y'all
Beach.
did that for me because I wanted to surf more, and they said it was the place to surf, right?
Yes. That was like the spot where kind of the big surf area. And I mean, there were so many people surfing too. Remember that?
Oh,
It was
yeah.
nuts. It was like you'd look out and,
Like
and when the
surf
waves.
school took over the whole part where you could catch a good wave, and then everybody's crashing into each other.
I think there's a place more south that next time, whenever we go, since we're going back.
But here's what I need to understand about the mainland when we go back is like the rivers of sewage that just run down the street into the ocean on the mainland.
Sad.
So like Jahna's ankle by this point was necrotic.
Yeah.
And so she couldn't
That
get
word is terrible.
into the ocean because it was doo-doo water.
I
And
didn't get to surf.
I mean, you could smell this, you could see from this street to that street, like empty beach, but where the street ends, it's just this river of sewage going straight into the ocean. And then everybody's out there surfing. And I've traveled a lot in a lot of countries. I'm not like overly concerned, but I was out there trying to surf and not so lucky that day. And afterwards drink a Coca-Cola for the first time in like 20 years because I was certain that I had caught a parasite or something. you know,
thought the Coca-Cola would
no,
kill
I
it?
think it was the right thing to do,
Right.
like battery acid or whatever, you know. And so that's the part about when people are like, ugh, about mainland Bali.
Right.
Oh, let me go surf in doo-doo water. You know,
I mean, yeah.
like
No,
open,
totally.
active running sewage.
I think you have to find the right spots, but
Yeah.
that definitely made an imprint on me for our whole trip. Just, I'm already kind of a tree hugger, environmental mama person, but that trip really opened my eyes as far as how easy it is to clean things up or such a big problem of pollution in our world. So that was a big impact on me, seeing that.
Kind of an eye opener, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
seeing how much plastic, like any place it wasn't like part of a hotel or a nice beach area, as soon as you got off the beaten path, you
There
just
was more
see
plastic than anything.
plastic
there's so
everywhere,
much
so
of it
it's
in the
kinda sad.
ocean. I think they also
So the smaller
in that
islands, like
country
they didn't
use
use
it.
straws or they used
Yeah.
bamboo. There was more conscientiousness around it.
But there's so much tourism there, and that's what's so hard, I bet, to control all that. But in general, Canggu was a nice area. I mean, there were some great little restaurants.
Oh,
that was the
yeah.
place where
See?
we had that. Remember?
Beautiful dinner.
Or, oh, that's right. We did have a really
I mean,
we
great
walked
dinner
down
Not
to
there.
La
cheap.
Brisa.
Like that
No.
was a little more
Yeah.
like actual prices,
Yeah.
right? I
But
mean,
the
prices
place-
that we're used to.
The place you were talking about, like, had the different, almost smoothie type. Wasn't that there in Canggu Beach? There was that
Gorgeous
one place.
breakfast.
Yeah.
And then our last evening,
Our last
Bali.
evening in Bali, we went to a little
Magical.
resort,
magic. Like if we
Called
all die
La Brisa.
tomorrow, we were thinking we did this in this life.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a recording
Okay.
from sunset
Oh,
at La Brisa,
I'm in love.
the last night
Just with love from
in
that.
Bali.
I know, me
Yeah.
too.
All right, here it goes. We are in Bali, witnessing our last sunset. I am here with Jahna, the pro photographer. No,
Pretend pro.
I mean, come on, right? This is our last sunset in Bali. Like,
Chucky.
what an amazing trip.
What a trip.
What a trip.
In all forms.
Chucky.
Where are you from? Way to get it done, Chucky. You're the best tour manager ever.
Tour manager.
That's a great place.
Beautiful.
Wow.
I love the way everyone's gathering around on the beach. It's like there's like a vibe that starts getting
Get in, Chucky. Get in.
picture time. But there's this great vibe that starts to,
Oh, your audio right now.
yes, that just starts to happen as the sun gets closer and closer to the horizon.
Look, they're doing cartwheels like we did.
Oh, nice. You guys started that.
Yeah.
You guys are the original cartwheel at Sunset and Bali crew.
I bet they didn't step on coral.
Wow, look at that beautiful sun.
You can't put it into words.
I know, right?
The imagery is.
I mean, you just have these amazing waves breaking right in front of you. You got the beautiful ball of fire in the sky just sitting above the water.
Sunsets reflecting
Sand.
off the water and sand. There's girls doing cartwheels like I do, except without injuries.
And you're hanging out with all the awesome people. You can't beat that.
Sprockets.
No.
That's
Man,
cool.
that evening was so great.
I mean, that was a great way to have a last night in
We
Bali.
blew it out. I mean, I think we were there for 5 or 7 hours.
I think it was actually more, like 8
or
hours.
And we
looked at the
just kept
time.
ordering everything.
We did.
I mean, we hung out, then we got
First
in the
we
pools,
sat for a meal, and
then we had a
moved over to
meal,
cocktail tables.
and
But
then
we
we
had
moved
this
back.
tab that just kept running, and we were like, let's get another appetizer. Let's get this other drink. It's late. It's sunset now. I don't even remember, but we just kept ordering everything.
And David picked up that tab.
Did he?
Yes. He treated us all. He just was like, this one's on me, guys. That was
so amazing.
Yeah.
So amazing.
And what I was going to add, thank you, David, is that it wasn't that much money.
Yeah.
Because the next night we were in Hong Kong.
Right.
Chucky and I had one appetizer and one drink each, and our tab was more than the entire tab for our 8 hours of 5 of us at the resort in Bali.
Hong Kong's expensive city.
I mean,
no
it's
doubt.
worth it to fly to
But
Bali
it's so
just
cool.
to go have dinners and stuff.
Just to be like,
because you
I'll have
get
another.
great food and
Let's get another appetizer. I mean, just have the abundance, the unending abundance of gorgeous, real food that's never
so
been
good.
in a fridge and
Yeah.
cocktails and sunset and ocean, and let's get in the pool. Let's get in the ocean. Let's look at all the beautiful everything. It was crazy.
So-
and then we laughed so hard. That was our night.
Was that the night that we laughed so hard? I don't remember. It was
Chucky
one night
didn't
we
want
laughed
to
so
hear
hard.
this story.
You
We
remember
rolled
Chucky?
around.
Chucky, you remember texting us and you said,
On the other
"Girls,
side
is
of the
that
wall, you were sharing the hotel room next to ours. And Jahna and I couldn't stop laughing. like we were stoned, but we
Yeah.
weren't
But we
at
were.
all.
We
And
were just literally
we were
laughing
crawling,
so hard.
gasping for air,
Laughing.
laughing.
and long pauses of silence just
Long
because you
pauses
can't
of,
breathe.
like when you cut yourself and it takes a really long time for the blood to show up. It's like we would gasp so hard for air in between laughs that there would be this long silence, and then just
So then it's even funnier because you're laughing at each other laughing.
wake up like you did 1,000 sit-ups, and you're like, "You girls okay over there?" And she's like, "We're just having sex." We
You
were
guys
so
are too
happy.
much.
We were really,
It was a joke,
really
by the
happy
way,
we
for
did not
everybody.
have sex. But we made a lot of sounds from being so happy.
So,
It was so fun.
all in all, amazing trip. Definitely would be worth exploring again. But something tells me there's so many other places to go in the world,
There are.
right?
Other islands, if we go there, other
Well,
parts
there's
of the mainland.
there are
if
definitely
we
other
go there.
places in that part of the world that's worth seeing. But I mean,
A lot of people had talked about the trash, had talked about
Yeah.
and I'm like, why you got to be so negative? And I get it. It's
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a long way to go to be swimming in plastic and sewage.
Well,
But it's eye-opening. I mean, I almost think it's people should go because it's at least for me, it's so
Right.
eye-opening. I mean, if you go to somewhere so far away that's so beautiful.
And the culture's insanely amazing.
Yeah,
and
and
ancient and
everything.
sacred.
people are so sweet
Yeah,
and nice, and you feel so
Humans need to
safe
be
there.
more
You know, I mean, it's
thoughtful,
probably one of the places
conscious.
in the world where you just feel safe.
We had people who would drive us to, remember in Ceningan, and they drove us to the Yellow Bridge, coordinated with their friends on the other island to pick us up, figured out
Take
what
us.
time we were going to be finished eating. And I mean, no one asked them to do all of this. They volunteered. It was so sweet.
Yeah.
And they were there every time for the ride when we needed to leave.
And there was a sense of
was
very
so
little
nice.
crime. I don't know about the mainland because we weren't on the mainland that much, but
Right.
very no
On
crime
the islands.
on the island.
Yeah.
Right?
You felt totally safe. Absolutely. So, I mean, compared to other, and this would be considered a third world country. So you compare it to maybe being in Mexico or being somewhere in South America where, you know, you got to be a little bit more mindful. Here, you just felt like the people were just good people. Like they didn't have a need to commit
Well, I mean,
crime.
all people are good people,
Right.
but it was
I think-
a very warm, friendly, and sacred culture.
Right. That's a good point.
And so when I'm complaining about the pollution, I'm not complaining about the people. It's like, I think you're right. You know, seeing it should open eyes and change all of our behavior.
What a great trip.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait for us to have another trip.
I know.
Nothing will
Let's set
ever
our
be exactly
intentions.
alike, but there's just so many great places
Okay, I
and great
have
experiences.
my place.
Okay, say it.
I have
I have two
a
that
beach
just came to
place
mind.
and I have the spiritual place.
Okay.
Beach place, I want to go some of these islands I've been hearing about in the Philippines that look absolutely amazing.
Okay.
Spiritual place, Machu Picchu.
I was going to say Machu Picchu.
A lot of people have done it.
No,
They're kind of
but-
starting to feel a little bit, but still.
No, we got to go while we can. and
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. And just the history there. I mean, you can't go to Rome
I
and
want to
say.
hike the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the history is a history, and what was built there, it looks amazing.
It's a
and
portal.
the people that people have been there
It's
have
like a
said,
vortex.
I can't wait to
Yeah.
go.
really, that would be a really great trip. And I actually had at one point planned on going, and maybe this would be the way to do it. But there's a town where you launch from to go to Machu Picchu. It's way up in the mountains, and I'm trying to remember the name, but they have a huge New Year celebration there. That's supposedly super cool, and you have to spend a few days there to acclimate to the altitude.
That'd be great.
And so you spend a few days there, and then New Year's they create all these effigies of like all the people that the politicians and people they don't like, and they burn them.
Oh my God.
And then everybody
What?
wears a yellow underwear on the outside of their clothes. And so it's like one of the top 10 places in the world to spend New Year's.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can see all the wheels when they're turning at the
Cusco.
table.
That's the name of the city. It's
Cusco is
Cusco.
where you fly into.
That's where you
Yeah.
fly into. That's where you
I've
start
searched
hiking
that flight
from.
often and several times.
Right. So you
So what
hike
about
from
you?
there.
What comes to your mind for our intentions?
Okay.
Jahna.
Beach trip would be, I really want to see the Great Barrier Reef before it's completely gone. I really fear that will happen very soon. Then second, for spiritual trip, I want to walk. I'd really love to walk all of it, but at least, well, I'm just going to say all of it. The walk that you do in Europe
The
through
Camino de
Spain.
Santiago.
Yes.
You know,
Camino
that's
de
my
Santiago.
biggest.
I want to do that.
That's been on my list for a decade.
You stole her item.
No, y'all both said things I want. That's
No
why
one
we
can
travel
steal
so
any of
beautifully
that.
together.
That's true.
Yeah.
So-
Those are my two.
Greece has always been really high on my list, and I've not been.
And Croatia, I really want to go to Croatia.
Thing is, we
Which
got
is
to time
Greece.
it where we're not cold in the ocean. There are only certain islands and certain weeks of the year where that ocean temperature gets to my liking, and I do want to actually relax in the ocean. When when I get all the way there.
Yeah.
And
Greece would probably be a good summer trip.
Yeah, but I've studied this water temperature averages of like every island, and I'm like, okay, if I went there, it would have to be late July through the end of August only, or if I go to this island,
October seems to always be a good time to travel because it's after the summer season, after the tourists, and the waters are still warm.
If the waters are still warm. Croatia's even colder, so that's the part that
I know, but it just looks so great.
Yeah, I want to go anyway. If I had to choose one thing for the rest of my life, I could sail every inch of the Caribbean and be totally satisfied.
Ooh, that's another great one.
I mean, on a sailboat.
Big, beautiful sailboat, cruising from island to island.
To do that all summer. That's definitely been on my list for a long time.
I want to know every inch of it. And I know people who've done it, and they tell me about these tiny little bays and these tiny little islands. And those are my people. I sailed every weekend growing up. I don't want to be the captain. I love sailboats. You know me. And that to me is also spiritual, even if we're not going to a monument or an ancient.
So we've set our intentions. We'll see how it goes.
I will say also that there's very few places I don't want to go.
Oaxaca, spiritual to Oaxaca.
I would love to go everywhere that you say. All of it.
I'll go with you.
Thank you guys for helping me with another episode of Chucky Radio, the season premiere.
Thank you for having us, Chucky.
You bet.
Chucky.
You bet.
You're the best.
Take care.